Okay, so in the second game for NFL Thanksgiving 2020, the football team came out on top and defeated the Cowboys in ball fashion, 41-16. It was a really ugly game from the start, and I gotta be honest, man, the Cowboys had just not looked like it. The one time I have the damn Cowboys winning the game, the one time they let me down. But that's all I'm gonna argue for another time. Let me give you some stats real quick. I know Mario's smiling over there. But you know what? I don't care. It's the damn Cowboys. We already know they're an accident waiting to happen to Stephen A. Smith's words. Let me give you some stats from the football team and the Cowboys. Starting with the football team, I gotta be honest with you, Mario. Both quarterbacks didn't really wasn't really flashing to me. Didn't really show off enough for me to be like, wow. Alex Smith went 19 for 26 with completion attempt, 149 yards, a touchdown, and interception. I'll tell you who did put a wow on my face. Antonio Gibson. This dude had 20 rushing attempts, 115 yards, and 3 touchdowns. The yardage isn't that much, but 3 touchdowns? Tell me another. When was the last time? Let me ask you a question, Mario. When was the last time a running back put 3 touchdowns in one game? Can't really remember. It's a pretty.
I
It's a
can't
pretty.
but like it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while. I can't really recall off the top of my head, but that's a very impressive stat, and I won't be surprised if this dude wins offensive player of the week for the NFC. Let me continue. Peyton Barber had 11 rushing attempts, 57 yards. Terry McLaurin had 7 receptions and 92 yards. The defense really came in clutch for the football team. I'll tell you that much. Darren Payne had a forced fumble, which is good, and he had a half a sack. Montez Sweat had an interception and a 15-yard touchdown. That interception led to that 15-yard touchdown at the end of the game. Cole Holcomb had a half a sack and a tackle for loss. Chase Young had a sack and 2 tackles for loss. Jeremy Reeves had a sack and a tackle for loss, and then Kaylee Hudson and Tim Settle had a tackle for loss, and Tim Settle had a sack. So the Cowboys, so Andy Dalton was getting sacked a lot this game. As for the Cowboys, you already know they're not gonna be that great. Andy Dalton did 25 for 35 completion attempts, 215 yards, a touchdown, and interception. Ezekiel Elliott, 10 rushing attempts, 32 yards, and a fumble. That's absolutely unacceptable, man. It really is. You're portrayed to be one of the best running backs in the league on the level of Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, and Derrick Henry, and you're just not playing. This is absolutely unacceptable. And he's been doing it all year. I love Ezekiel Elliott, I really do, but he's not playing like Ezekiel Elliott. And I hate to see that. With that said, Amari Cooper, 6 receptions, 112 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty decent stats. Not the best in the world, but it's something. Michael Gallup had 6 receptions for 41 yards. CD Lamb had 5 receptions and 21 yards. Again, another unacceptable stat. You were supposed to be one of the best wide receivers coming out of this draft, and you're doing that. That's just unacceptable. Jalen Smith had an interception. Leighton Vander Esch had a tackle for loss. Randy Gregory had 2 sacks and 2 tackles for loss, which is good. Randy Gregory starting to come back after that whole thing with his marijuana cases and all that. So I'm glad to see that he's doing good. Alden Smith had a tackle for loss, and DeMarcus Lawrence had a sack and a tackle for loss. Before I get to you, Mario, I want to go off on the Dallas Cowboys for a minute. This team is a lost cause. It really is. But listen, I understand they play with injuries. Their star quarterback and Dak Prescott's gone. I get all of that. But let me tell you something about Mike McCarthy, all right? I really hope this man understands that his job is in jeopardy. Because let me explain something to you, all right? I I appreciate the aggressiveness he has. But my problem with his aggressiveness is the fact that he does it at the worst possible times. Let me explain something to you. He went for it on the 4th and 1 at Dallas's 40. Do you understand that if you fail at the 4th and 1, which he did, by the way, you're getting the football team that much closer to their end zone? What are you doing? And even better. And I think he did it again, only this time he was on the Dallas side, and then he called for a fake punt. I can't remember if it was on the 30 or the 40 on the Washington or Dallas side, but why would you do that? You're just getting them that much closer. I don't like how aggressive he is at the worst possible times. As for the talent, I mean, come on now. I mean, Andy Dalton isn't a bad quarterback. He's not. I mean, you can make an argument that he is. Well, actually, you can't really make an argument since it's a fact. He's not as elite as Dak Prescott, which is true. But I think he's still a viable QB. I don't think he's a bad option. I really don't. You got all this talent: Ezekiel Elliott, Mari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CD Lamb. You got a veteran defender, DeMarcus Lawrence, and followed up by Randy Gregory. What are you doing? They're blowing it up, and I just don't know what's going on here. I really don't. Like, I know I went off on these guys a lot in previous videos, but this team is just a lost cause, man. That they gave up 21 unanswered points in the second half alone. Or not even in the second half, in the fourth quarter alone. I don't know, man. This team is just a complete lost cause, and I just don't know what they're doing anymore. I really don't. And I really do think, and as much as I don't want it to happen, but I feel like it is. Mike McCarthy's going to get fired at the end of the season. I can see it. I personally don't want it to because I really think they need him, but I think he's going to end up getting fired, and I think other coaches will too. But I think it's gonna more specifically be on him.
I'll say this though. First off, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are a lost cause. I'll just explain why. The reason why I don't think they're a lost cause is yes, they've been playing terrible, and trust me, as much as like I'm happy I got that game right, I'm also upset that we lost to a team that just only scored 16 points against the Washington football team. So, going back to what I was saying, the reason why I don't think they're a lost cause is because you got to also remember what division they're in.
Yeah,
That is crucial right there. That is important. They are in the worst division in football. They still have a chance to win this division, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? All four teams are terrible this year. They have a chance to win this division despite the loss. You know what I'm saying? They're probably only a game behind. They're probably only a game behind losing this division. If they can just get on like a 2-game winning streak, they have a chance to win this division. That's how sad this division is. So I don't think the Cowboys are a lost cause. But here's my problem because the Dallas Cowboys are probably the biggest franchise in NFL history, because they're probably one of the most decorated franchises in NFL history, it is so hard for a coach to keep their job there. It is. And you know what? Jason Garrett, as much as people don't want to give him, and I don't like not play wise, he stayed. Jerry Jones kept him in a long time. For somebody who didn't win a Super Bowl, he kept him in a long time. You also got to remember, they had you got to remember the coaches that they used to have there. Tom Landry, Hall of Famer, dude won, I believe he won 2 Super Bowls with the Cowboys.
Jimmy
Uh,
Johnson won 3 of them.
Jimmy Johnson won.
Wait, did he win
Oh
three?
no, yeah, yeah. Wait, hang
Yeah.
on. They have 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
They won. So there's 3 coaches that won Super Bowls. Okay, so I want to say Tom Landry maybe you have one, maybe probably won. I think one Super Bowl. I can't remember, but I believe he won one Super Bowl because they got 5. Let me do the math here. Jimmy Johnson won 3 for sure. That's 4, and then Barry Switzer won 1. So there's 5 right there. So you got Super Bowl champ, you got 3 Super Bowl head coaches, right? And then after that they go to uh oh my God, Bill Parcells. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. They go to Bill Parcells. Okay, Bill Parcells is a Hall of Fame coach. He didn't do good in Dallas, so they kicked him out. Jason Garrett comes in and then coaches for as long as we could remember. And then Mike McCarthy is here now. Here's my problem: if you are a coach in the Dallas Cowboy organization, if you don't win a Super Bowl, then you're not going to be up there with them. I'm being
You're
honest.
on. You're under so
That's
much
why
pressure.
it's so hard to be a Dallas Cowboy head coach. It's because the expectation is so high for you to win a Super Bowl. And a lot of these coaches they bring in do not have a high expectation. For instance, Mike McCarthy, he's a decent head coach, but I don't think he was ever that great of a head coach. And the reason why I say that is because look at who he had. He had Aaron Rodgers for that whole time. You know what I'm saying? He won a Super Bowl in 2010, and even with Aaron Rodgers, you couldn't win again. I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm a Vikings fan. But you had Aaron Rodgers for the longest time. You only went to 1 Super Bowl. So
Right.
it's not like he was any other. Think about it this way: Mike Tomlin had Ben Roethlisberger. They won 2 Super Bowls together. I think they went to 3.
Yeah, they went to 3-1 too.
So how do you have Aaron Rodgers, who, in my opinion, I think Aaron Rodgers is probably a better quarterback than Ben Roethlisberger overall. Not this year, but career wise, I think he's a better quarterback than Ben Roethlisberger. So how can Mike Tomlin take Ben to 3, right? And you can only take Aaron Rodgers to 1.
Mike Tomlin's a good coach.
That's what
Tomlin
I'm
knows what he's
saying.
doing.
Tomlin is one of them top tier coaches. You know what I'm saying? He takes a team without Ben Roethlisberger and turns it into an 8-8 team after they fall like 1-5. So I mean, like, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you put Mike Tomlin with Aaron Rodgers, I think they go to more Super Bowls. You
Yeah.
put Mike McCarthy with Ben Roethlisberger, he don't go back to the Super Bowl. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Mike McCarthy has been dealt a bad hand this year. Okay, I agree. Okay, but he still has a lot of good pieces on that team. That team didn't start off terrible. You
Yeah.
had Dak, you had Elliott, you had Gallup, Amari, CeeDee
CeeDee
Lamb.
Lamb,
Yeah, then you want to go like on the deep. You had one of the best offensive lines in the game. Then you want to go to defense. You had
Marcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory.
Jalen Smith, Demarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, Alden Smith. You had Everson Griffin in the beginning of the year, Leighton Vander Esch. I think you still had Sean Lee, Trayvon Diggs. You did Xavier Woods. You didn't have a bad defense, but for some reason, this defense was the worst in the league. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It
Mike
really
McCarthy.
doesn't.
My first problem with Mike McCarthy, I believe he's always been too much of an offensive coach. I believe he had great defensive players back with Green Bay. He had B.J. Raji, he had Clay Matthews, he had Clinton Dix. God, it's so many corners, so many. But they were never, to me. I was never afraid of that defense. The fear was always with Aaron Rodgers in that offense. It was always them. It was never that defense, and so. It was always like Aaron Rodgers, Eddie Lacy, all them guys. It was never that defense. And that's the problem. Nobody fears that defense. I think what Dallas needs to do next year, honestly, I think they need to start fresh with a new coach. Instead of getting
Yeah.
old coaches that were fired or whatever, get a college coach. Get a
That's something my
college
mom was telling me.
Lincoln Riley would be perfect, the Oklahoma coach. I'm trying to think. Lincoln Riley would be good. You know, even get a retired college coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Urban Meyer, man, like get him out of retirement. I guarantee you, Urban Meyer would have no problem coaching the decorated Dallas Cowboys. I think Urban Meyer has a better shot than Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy to make a Super Bowl. And I know it's like college and everything like that, but think about it. Think about what Urban Meyer has done in his college how he's coaching his college career. He has a better coaching record than Nick Saban. So,
Yeah.
like, all the NFL players that he produced. You remember that draft with Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas, Joey Bosa was in that draft. You remember that draft?
Yeah.
Ohio State had, I think, the most first rounders in NFL history. And who coached them? Urban Meyer. They were already NFL ready. Urban Meyer knows how to take players and make them NFL ready. The only player I've ever seen from Ohio State that was not NFL ready, in my opinion, even he showed flashes of being NFL ready, was Dwayne Haskins. Other than that, a lot of Ohio State players were NFL ready. So, like, Urban Meyer, I really do think is that guy. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
like,
Right. And he's familiar with Zeke, so we can help him turn around and get him back to form.
Absolutely. So stop getting all these fired coaches. Stop getting these former players who used to back up Troy Aikman. Like, stop doing all this and start new, start fresh. That's what they need to do. I think after this season, I think Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones needs to fire.
Not even that. Here's what I commended Jerry Jones on. When he first bought the Dallas Cowboys, right? You know what the first thing he did was?
What's that?
You know what the first thing he did was? Fire people. I promise you that's the first thing. I know for a fact that's the first thing he did. I looked it up. I've seen videos. You, go on. You, go on. You, get out. He fired, get this. He fired Tom Landry, a Super Bowl winning Hall of Fame coach. He fired him.
Fired him.
You know how much guts you need to fire
Tom Landry.
Guess what he does? He brings in
Jimmy Johnson.
Not Jerry. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Jerry Jones. Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson wins 3. So the fire really did pay off. He needs to do that. That's what he needs to do.
A lot of people say that Jerry Jones. A lot of people say that for as long as Jerry Jones owns the team, the Cowboys are not going to win the Super Bowl. I disagree with that. All right, I really do think Jerry Jones knows what he's doing. I mean, the empire that he built in the '90s proved it. But like, you know, a lot of people say that was the '90s. It can't be done again. Yeah, it can. You just need to put the pieces together. You know, get rid of who's part of the problem, who's holding you back, and then get pieces that could resolve that problem and get you to the promised land. I know Jerry Jones can do that, and I know that. We've all seen it.
Look, Jerry Jones is the foundation of why the Dallas Cowboys are so successful.
Yeah.
After the Tom Landry era. When you take see that's what I commended Jerry Jones in the beginning for. You took Tom Landry a Hall of Fame coach who's actually doing pretty good. I think his last season was like 9-7, and you fired him to sign Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy Johnson ended up winning 3 more Super Bowls. So his era was so much better than the Dallas Cowboys eras before him. And if you look at that era, look at the guys that were there. Um, Emmitt Smith,
Emmett Smith, Troy Aikman,
Michael Irvin,
Michael
uh,
Irvin.
the Great Wall of Dallas, Charles Haley, he took him in, ended up winning a Super Bowl. Deion Sanders, he took him in. Like I'm trying to think. I know there's more. I know there's a lot more. But Jerry Jones is the foundation of why that team is so successful, and he's gonna be continuing to be the foundation of why it's so successful. But in order for him to go back to that success, he needs to fire. I'm sorry, he needs to go back to year one, Jerry Jones, and just be like, you go on. Anybody who's not an asset to that team, go on, pack it up. Honestly, the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think they're a lost cause. I still think they can win a division. I still think they can make the playoffs because they're in that division. But they got to figure out how to turn around all these woes that they have here. Because now you got Andy Dalton back. I mean, like he's not Dak Prescott, but he is a decent quarterback. He played decent last game. Now until like the last minutes. Now you just you gotta put the pieces together. You gotta figure out how you can have somewhat of a good season of what you have left and make the playoffs.
Absolutely. We were talking about the Cowboys, but I can't tell how long. We forgot to mention the football team. I mean, obviously their offense showed up. I have to give more credit to the defense. Defense showed up. Defense is playing. Defense going into this game was fifth in the league, and they played like a top 5 defense in the league. I got to give them credit. They're forcing fumbles. They're sacking the quarterback against nobody's business. They're getting those tackles for losses, and they're doing their thing. They obviously the offense did their thing too, and Antonio Gibson did his thing. But I think more credit goes to the defense on this one because that defense. I'm telling you right now, it's a powerhouse, and that game just displayed it. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if they could upgrade their offense, I think that football team, the team with no name of all damn teams that I'm saying right now, if they up that offense, that team will be a threat because that defense is deadly.
I 100% agree with you. I got a little bit to add. So one guy on this Washington football team, one guy in the offense that I really am impressed with, and that I don't think gets a lot of credit and gets a lot of attention, is Terry McLaurin, another guy from Ohio State. Terry McLaurin, another guy that was coached by Urban Meyer. Terry McLaurin is definitely the number one wide receiver on that team. You know what I'm saying? And at such a young age, because I think this is probably his second year, I think, in the league. I think it's it's the second year in the league, second or third. For somebody that young in the game, is already taken on a veteran status. And I like what he said. He said he's had 5 quarterbacks within the past 2 years. He said
Right.
it doesn't matter. He says to me, it doesn't matter who that quarterback is. He says my job is to get open, to catch that ball, and make the quarterback's job as easy as possible. So so he knows his role. You know what I'm saying? So Terry McLaurin, let me tell you something. Here's one of the key parts of the game. When Jalen Smith picked off that ball,
Mm-hmm.
he was running. He was running to the end zone. It looked like a nice little pick six was gonna happen, right? Terry McLaurin's chasing him, right? Terry McLaurin gets blocked, a full front block, gets around the blocker and trips up Jalen Smith so he can stop a pick six from happening. The Cowboys ended up kicking a field goal. He saved 4 points on the board for them.
Yeah.
Terry
Right.
McLaurin is I'm gonna be honest with you, he's the MVP of this offense. Not the MVP of this game. I mean, obviously that goes to Antonio Gibson, but he's the MVP of this offense because what he has done night in and night out, he's proven why he is an asset to this team and why they need to keep him for longer years to come.
Absolutely.
I do think he is one of the most underrated wide receivers in this game. I do believe that he is one of the most underrated wide receivers in this game. I put him in that same category as Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay. He's underrated. And honestly, Terry McLaurin, I think, deserves a lot more respect than what he gets.
Absolutely. And I just want to say this for a minute and go away from the talent on the team. I want to talk about Daniel Snyder because you know me. I don't like Daniel Snyder. I don't like all the questionable moves that he's made over the years in his tenure with Washington as the owner. And same thing with Jerry Jones. I really think he needs to. Well, except the thing with Jerry Jones is that he's having more trouble with his coaching staff. I really think the thing with Daniel Jones is not Daniel Jones, Daniel Snyder. My bad. thing with him, he needs to keep this because this defense, like I said before, if he builds up on this offense, if he's smart about what he does, and Daniel Snyder's a guy that makes very questionable decisions. I really think he needs to look at this team and be like, this team has a future. Yeah, we have no name. Yeah, work on that. Work on getting yourself a damn name. But right now, you may not have no name, but that defense is amazing. The offense can't really you can't really say the same about the offense. It's okay, but like it's not like flashy like the defense is. But like I said, man, if he's smart about getting good offensive pieces, like I said, this team could be a threat. And I can really see that being a possibility if Daniel Snyder is smart about
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I mean, I think I like 100% agree. I think that the offense could use a little bit more of upgrades, but the defense is like coming together. I think they could have a couple more pieces, maybe on the corner side.
it. Right.
But like right now, if I'm using a first round pick, I'm using it on offense. You know,
Okay.
they were projected to have the seventh pick before this game. That had probably dropped tremendously because now they're in first place, but with that seventh pick, they were projected to get like Trey Lance or like Jamar Chase. Like honestly, they got to figure out what to do with that pick. They got to figure out if is Alex Smith and Dwayne Haskins, are they the quarterbacks that we can see in the future? If not, then we got to get a new quarterback. Do we need another wide receiver to pair up with Terry McLaurin? Honestly, I think that would be a first pick right there. If they somehow get the seventh pick, which they were projected to get, because obviously now they're in the I believe they're the winners of the division. Are they? Or is it still the
They're
Eagles?
they're number one in the division right now.
Okay. So with that being said, they're number one in their division. So now they're probably not right now. If this was the draft, if the draft was today, they're not projected to get Jamar Chase. They're more down that list. So it would go to like the Giants or like the Eagles with that seven pick, or the Cowboys. But whichever team is last, I believe it's the Cow. It might be the Cowboys
And the
then.
Cowboys are last in the division now.
Yeah, so they get that seventh pick. But if Washington has that seventh pick, they don't make the playoffs and they have that seventh pick, I really would consider getting Jamar Chase because I think you need another playmaking wide receiver next to Terry McLaurin. I really do think that's what you need. You put Terry McLaurin on one side, Jamar Chase on the other. That is a deadly wide receiver duo.
It is.
It is, and so you got to figure out what to do on offense. Maybe you use it on an offensive line pick. That's perfect too. You know what I'm saying? There's a guy. Hopefully, I don't think he drops, but there's a Oregon offensive lineman, Penny Sewell. So he's Samoan. His name is Penny Sewell. He's like the top offensive lineman in the country. He could be a big part to that Washington offensive line too. So there's a lot of stuff you can do on this offense. I think keeping Antonio Gibson, I think he's got a bright future. Like
Absolutely.
he's had some games where he's kind of slow, but I think he does have a bright future. I think he could definitely just got to work on consistency. I think he has a bright future, so I think you keep him. Terry McLaurin's a big factor on that team. I think you keep him. Um, and everything else is questionable.
Yeah,
So you got to figure out what to do with this offense and take it from there.
absolutely. Congratulations to the football team on taking first in the division. They're getting a 140-160 on Thanksgiving. As for the Cowboys, get to the drawing board, boys.